downloadable content,
microtransactions,
DRM,
pre-order DLC,
dislocked content, blind, stupid fucking fanboyism.
What's up, gamers? Welcome to Gamer Rant. I know it's been like a week, well, 5 days since I've uploaded a video. That's because I went back to work and I work graveyard shifts. So it's based on like when I get up, if I have time before I have to leave for work again, and mostly if I feel like it. I did try to record this same video that I'm doing right now, 3 different days, and well, let's just say I became frustrated. It was either the video was too long or the processor in my fucking computer is too fucking outdated. One or the other, alright? So, apparently, fans are concerned about Barrett's voice in the Final Fantasy VII Remake, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, and I'm just going to put this out here right now. Well, the biggest issue that I had was audio sync issues. So, if I have that same fucking issue, because I've tried recording this video so many times, I'm going to be like, fuck it, and I'm going to upload it, because I'm tired of it. So I'm just warning you now. Fans are concerned about Barrett's voice in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Barrett is a stereotype of a gruff black man in the English translation of the original game. In Kotaku video producer Tim Rogers' analysis of the translation, he points out how the English translation, which he says was done by a single person in 2 weeks, inserted that characterization after the fact. Barrett's characterization in this version involved an exaggerated black dialect, and his retranslated dialogue now also emphasizes Americanized ideals about masculinity. So the issue that I have with this is, so are we talking about the new trailer, or are we talking about like the original Final Fantasy VII game? But in either case, yeah, I mean, where did Mr. Tim Rogers get his information that it was done in 2 weeks by one individual? I mean, you want to talk about not citing your source, and if you really think that a Kotaku writer, you're going to think that I'm, as me, going to take a Kotaku video producer as your source of information, but yet you can't give us where they got their source of information that it was done by one person in 2 weeks. I don't know. Seems like you're trying to pander toward diehard fans to, I don't know, just really sell your ridiculous article. But we'll get back to that section highlighted in red later, ladies and gentlemen. Let's scroll on down to Brandon Dixon, the creator of the upcoming tabletop RPG Swords Fall. Can a game for fucking once just make the black guy normal? Why is he a walking MTV cliche of what people think black men are like? He wrote on Twitter, do they ever talk to POC at all? Alright, so there's a few things that I have wrong. One with this statement, which we're going to get to, and the article in general. So this, in regards to this particular statement, here's a question I pose to you. What is a normal white man? Explain to me what a normal white man is. Now, if you have just a remote little piece of common sense, you would, number one, know that that very answer is subjective. It's not objective. It's subjective. And there's a reason why it's subjective and not objective. All right? I mean, there are inherent things that we could say could be objective, but those would basically be the similarities from like every white guy across the world. But there would also be massive differences, which makes it subjective. Because asking me what a normal white guy is, I live in America, so it's not going to be the same answer as a white guy in Australia. So, you know, how do we define what a normal black guy or a normal white guy actually is? Because when you look at it across the world, an African and an African American would give you 2 separate answers. And that's because of their culture, how they were raised, what they grew up, the religions that surrounded them, the religions that they themselves believe, so on and such forth, their education, etc., 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 is all going to inherently affect what we would consider a normal black guy. And you know, the irony from this is that Barrett is basically a muscular black guy. All right? That is such a thing out there. All right? Now, when it comes to personalities, we've ultimately, it's factually known that just because we have and you know, this just a tough, gruff guy in general, all right, regardless of their race, color, etc. We've often seen people that are like on this spectrum of like hardcore, I will punch you in the face kind of motherfucker, all right? And then we have the other kind of dude. You look at them, visually, they look like they would fuck you up, and they would get very easy to get pissed off, but yet they're like the nicest motherfuckers you've ever met, all right? You see, it's like two different characters. And you know, the funny thing about this is basically referring to a trope, all right? The whole article. It's referring to basically black guy tropes. And I'm going to tell you why this article is bullshit. Because this article is on the same level as this young lady right here. Feminist Frequency, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, Gamer Rant just went there. So, Feminist Frequency focuses on female tropes in video games. All right? Well, let's backtrack to that red sentence I highlighted. All right? As it reads, Barrett is a stereotype of a gruff black man. All right. Duke Nukem is a stereotype of a man. Cloud is a stereotype of a man. Lightning is a stereotype of a woman. Tifa is a stereotype of a woman. Ellie is a stereotype. I mean, I could sit here, I could go all motherfucking day. And you see, this is what this article fails to realize, and it's what this young lady fails to realize. Time and time again. You see, she lives in this bubble where apparently the only tropes that exist are that of female tropes in any form of entertainment. What this article is attempting to dictate is that, well, you know, apparently there's only black guy tropes in entertainment. But that's not true. All right? And seeing as how I accidentally clicked on this, that made me remind that I forgot to do something. So in this article, when it states that Barrett's characterization in this version involves an exaggerated black dialect, and his retranslated dialogue now also emphasizes Americanized ideals about masculinity.
Have fun.
I'm here for you, to help take the load off your shoulders.
So, what's our next move, boss?
That's easy enough.
I'm here for you, to take the load off your shoulders. That's easy enough. Please do explain to me how those few short words is a characterization that is an exaggerated black dialect and retranslated dialogue, and that dialogue somehow emphasizes Americanized ideals about masculinity. And you know, like I was saying, same thing as Miss Feminist Frequency here, all right? What she and the article fails to realize is that there are tropes throughout entertainment within of itself. And the biggest thing when it comes to Feminist Frequency is she does a lot of talking. You want to know the one thing she does not do? She cannot walk the walk. That's what she doesn't do. If you believe that there is a better way to portray, for example, females in entertainment, then get off your ass and become a motherfucking writer. Simplicity within of itself. Because what she also fails to realize is across the spectrum of entertainment, there are female writers that literally write their female characters with the very tropes that she complains about. She talks about, but she lacks the capacity to walk the walk. All right, same concept with said article. All right. It's easy to talk the talk. It's another to try to walk the walk. Now, in retrospect to both Feminist Frequency and the article, when we look at this from a writer's perspective, tropes are definitely overused. There's no doubt about that. But the only one that can inherently truly change that is the writer themselves. Or somebody who decides, I'm going to be a writer and I'm going to go against the norm and I'm not going to use these overused tropes. And I also want to point out is, where do tropes come from? Tropes come from real people, ladies and gentlemen. They are the very embodiment of what other people have seen other people do, act, perform, so on and such forth. They literally become a trope in real life. Thus, this is how they become a part of entertainment. It's no different than cliche. Why is all of our entertainment cliche? Because people are cliche. You know, I could say that it's easy, but obviously from Feminist Frequency and this article, it's apparently not that easy. This is like common base sense. You want to sit there and you want to focus on one little part of the spectrum of writing, character development, all right, for any form of entertainment. And you're focusing on the cliches or tropes of those types of characters. But yet you're too ignorant and arrogant to realize that, well, guess what? Barrett's not the only gruff guy. Yeah, that's right. I simply said guy, stating all races, colors, so on and such forth. You want to sit here and you want to play this bullshit victim card when the reality of it is it's not even a victim card in the first place. It's your complete ignorance upon the subject. This is why I'm giving you more of my perspective from a writer rather than a gamer. It's inherently ridiculous. Both this article and Feminist Frequency on that very aspect. All right? Well, anyway. Hopefully the audio sync did not happen. If it did, I apologize. But that's why I kept my face small. That way it wouldn't be too annoying. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. Oh, actually, no, wait. I also want to point out real quickly that when it comes to tropes, a lot of people like to make this big excuse that somehow it's only an American problem or like it's a Japan problem. But it's not, all right? If we have a movie production in Australia that is literally a production in Australia, all right? And they have an American character in it. I'm pretty confident as a writer that there's probably going to be quite a few American tropes attached to that American character in that particular story. It's no different in any other country that produces movies, TV, even animation, where a character's origin is from another country. They're going to take those countries' tropes and maybe even their own idea, ass crack backwards idea of how they act and so on and such forth. And that's what they're going to create. So again, this isn't even like something that is a problem just in America. It's entertainment as a whole worldwide. But like I said, you know, you're either going to talk the talk, or you can shut up and start walking the walk. The choice is ultimately you, because talking gets nowhere. I mean, writers are writers. They're going to write what they want to write. They're going to create the characters they want to create the way they want to create them. All right? Now, granted, this is a translation. So I guess that within of itself, I'll give you, could be debatable. All right? But anyway. Hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. And remember, gamers, if you're not voicing your thoughts and concerns about the bullshit that is, well, this article, and yes, even Feminist Frequency, you just might be a part of the motherfucking problem.